Am I the a-hole for uninviting my fiance's brother's new girlfriend from the wedding after she caused a scene? So it's only 2 weeks before the wedding and my fiance's brother's, let's call him John, M21, new girlfriend, let's call her Betty, F18, caused a lot of drama at the bridal shower this past weekend. This has been an ongoing problem since they started dating. They got a promise ring shortly after dating, which I have no problem with at all. But at the bridal shower, she used it to brag a lot and kept on making comments such as calling my fiance's mom her mother-in-law, and she said to me I'd soon be part of the family, as though she is already married to John. She also spread a rumor about one of the nicest ladies at the bridal shower, my neighbor, saying she had flirted with Betty's father, not father-in-law, her real father, which was nearly impossible as she is married and is one of the most kind-hearted people I know and has never met Betty. We asked the neighbor if she was indeed at the pub where Betty works at the previous night where Betty claimed it happened. I had to go up to her and ask her to stop being rude to my guests and to please stop gossiping. Shortly thereafter, a lady on their table came up to me and asked to sit with me as she couldn't stand the bad mouthing by Betty at a table. My maid of honor then took it upon herself to uninvite Betty as she caused a lot of problems and generally just took away from one of the special moments in my life. After she sent her a message, Betty simply ignored it. My maid of honor then told me about this, and I decided that she was right, as it is her duty to make the wedding run smoothly, and as this has happened so many times before. My fiance's father thinks I'm tearing the family apart for uninviting her, even after I said that John was still to come as a groomsman and as my fiance's brother. My fiance's dad and brother have decided that if Betty is not invited, they would not attend either. I left out a lot of her actions as I did not want to elaborate on everything. I'm honestly stuck as to what to do. My fiance feels that if his family chooses John's new girlfriend over his wedding, then they don't care about him enough. It hurts to be in this situation. We want our wedding to run smoothly and drama-free, and Betty might not make this possible. So, am I the a-hole for uninviting Betty? Edit. Some side notes, my family is paying for the entire wedding. It is also my birthday 2 days after the wedding, so it's also a birthday celebration for me as I'm turning 21. Betty is going overseas for a year without John, and for this reason wasn't invited to the wedding, but then invited herself after she failed to hand in her paperwork on time. John was always appeared to be the golden child. John and father-in-law often show jealousy towards my fiancé as he is a younger brother, but he is more successful than both of them. My fiancé and I discussed it before making the decision together to uninvite her. He agreed to not have her at the wedding even at the cost of his brother not coming. Multiple comments suggest Betty might be pregnant, and this is a possibility. She posted a negative pregnancy test on Snapchat at the start of their relationship and said, "We made it," so they are intimate. Also, my fiancé mentioned to me the other day that she was standing weird when talking to his family. She was pushing out her belly, which makes it even more suspicious. And if this is the case, I'd be scared she will announce it at the wedding. She might as well be faking it or impregnated herself by making use of a used condom when John wasn't looking around. Update. After day 1, father-in-law swore at my fiancé and yelled at him as if he is a child that must obey his father in everything he does. After my fiancé said he is not willing to change his mind, father-in-law showed up at my fiancé's work and said that he will be attending the wedding with brother-in-law. But they are extremely upset. He was extremely manipulative and still do not understand why father-in-law is reacting so harshly. Top comments from Psycha the Casual. Not the a-hole. And your fiancé is right. If they chose her over the wedding, they are not important enough to attend the wedding anyway. They don't care about you or your feelings. Uninvite the troublemaker and move on instead of having a messed up wedding. Another comment from CBM 984. Girl is delusional and fiancé's family is encouraging it. An engagement ring isn't the same as a wedding ring, and a promise ring is an even further cry from that. If John actually wanted to marry Betty, he would have given her an engagement ring. If fiancé's family are really going to miss his wedding because they basically counting on attending John's, they're going to be disappointed. I bet dollars to donuts Betty's crazy is going to make John run for the hills way before he actually makes it down the aisle. A comment from perspective number 8799. I did study abroad with several people that were in relationships. I was the only one without a significant others back home. Every single one of them cheated. Edit. I'm not saying everyone is going to cheat. I'm just saying that sometimes when you're in a different country, young and dumb sometimes happens. Clearly for the people I knew, they did not have serious relationships that mattered that much, or they would not have cheated. Most were freshmen in college, so 18 to 19. My point was simply from my experience, young and dumb mattered more than their significant others back home. This does not mean everyone is going to cheat in a long-distance relationship. Another comment from SuperGeek921. That's not necessarily true. People make long-distance relationships work all the time when work or school makes them move temporarily. But that said, they are a long way from being married or even engaged. The thought that the groom's father would skip his own son's wedding over a disinvited girlfriend is mind-boggling. OP and her fiancé are not the a-holes, but I do feel bad for them. Next stories. Am I the a-hole for having my husband's friend kicked out for bringing his 4 kids to my child-free wedding? My husband, 30, and I, 30, got married 2 weeks ago. We decided on a child-free wedding due to venue choice, food choice, alcohol, location, etc. We included this rule in every invitation, including the one my husband's bestie, Leo, 35, who is a widower with 4 kids. Leo complained to my husband about the rule, but that is that. At the wedding, my husband said he was worried his friend Leo may not come since I refused to let him bring kids. But about almost an hour into the wedding, we start hearing noise from a distance. We look closely and see Leo standing there with his 4 kids, dressed nicely. He was arguing with the staff about the kids not being allowed. I felt horrible because the staff was drilling that this an adult-only wedding and the kids needed to leave, but Leo kept arguing and went as far as yell out my husband's name, telling him to come tell the staff off since it's his wedding. I was so upset and embarrassed, but I kept my composure and went over to talk to Leo. I told him to either get a kid somewhere else and come back or just leave. He acted offended, saying this is his best friend's wedding and he was invited to it. I said I was sorry, but the rule is followed by everybody and everybody should respect that. He argued about how he wasn't just a random guest but was family, but I said it still applies. I insisted he make his choice, but he doubled down talking about how he couldn't find babysitter and how he shouldn't have to miss his best friend's wedding. I had the staff escort him and his kids out after he kept pushing, which led to some of my husband's friends to complain, saying Leo has special circumstances because he's a widower and it's essentially my fault for not providing babysitting options for guests. Wedding went on after that, but my husband was angry. He said this is his best friend that I just caused to miss his wedding. He said Leo stopped answering his calls till today and respond to his messages because of what I did. Now, my husband believes that I have just ruined his relationship with his friend when I could have just made an exception for him and the kids since they were there already. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Just so you know, my husband was on board with this rule, but wanted me to make an exception for his friend and his friend only. My family and friends would have felt deeply hurt if I said yes. Top comments from No Policy 4095. The husband doesn't seem to have been on board with the whole no kids thing. And based on the friend's reaction as well as the husband's kvetching, I almost wonder if there wasn't a bit of a smear campaign against OP amongst the friends. And as you suggested, the husband suggested Leo just show up. Another comment. Yes, it sure sounds that way. OP uses the word we several times in her submission, referring to the no children policy. But given husband's reaction, it sure sounds like he wasn't on board and may well have engaged in some subterfuge, which backfired when OP held her ground. Not the greatest start to a marriage, in my own opinion.